Hey Hawks, Coach Bishop here again. Just wanted to follow up with you. This is video number 2. I'm going to go over some of our specialty offensive plays in this video. We're going to talk about how we're going to break a press, how we're going to inbound the ball from under our own goal, as well as a couple of other specialty plays that we're going to run from time to time. In the first video, I covered our base offense, so the main offensive plays that we're going to run this season. You might remember we've got Omaha with a couple of variations of that we call drop and pickup. Then we've got gate that we're going to run. And then we've got overload, and we've got pop that should get us open jump shots. But in addition to those, let's talk about a few other concepts and plays here. The first play I'm going to talk about is how we're going to break the press. Now the press is when we're taking the ball out on this end of the court and we're trying to get down to this end of the court. So we're shooting on this goal, but the other team is putting full court pressure on us. They're defending us way up here, back on the back end of the court. We have to have a way to get the ball inbounds and get it across half court effectively without the other team stealing it and getting easy buckets on their own end. So what we have to do, we've got 5 seconds to inbound the ball from the time that this guy gets it, and then we've got, from the time it's inbounded, 10 seconds to get the ball across half court. So what we've got to do, since we've only got 5 seconds to inbound the ball, we've got to get everyone, as soon as there's either the ball goes out of bounds or the other team scores, as soon as we know that we're getting the ball to inbound it and the other team is pressing us, everyone has to run to these positions. Now I'm going to talk at the beginning of the season and let you guys know kind of which position number you're going to be playing. For the most part, we may swap it up a little throughout the season, but like last season, Adam and Cole were number 4, and they're going to primarily play that position. So you'll primarily know what position number you're going to have, and you can go back and watch these videos and see where you go. But our 4 person is going to take out the ball. He's going to be just the guy to go and take it out. Our 1 guard is going to go to the middle of the free throw line. The 3 guard is going to go to the edge of the free throw line on the same side as the ball is. So if the ball were on the opposite side of the goal over here, 3 would go over here where 2 is shown. The 3 lines up in front of the ball on the same side at the free throw line. 2 goes on the free throw line on the opposite side. And 5 goes back to half court even with the ball. Now again, you have to rush to your spots because we got to get set up in this position and ready to go. Now when 4 is going to say go, now there should be some defenders in here trying to keep us from inbounding the ball. If not, 4 can just pass it in. But assuming they're pressing us and there's defenders here trying to keep us from inbounding the ball, 3 is going to go set a pick or a screen on 1's defender, and that lets 1 break out to this side over here. And 4 is going to look to pass him the ball. Now after 3 sets this pick, he's not going to just stay there. He's going to go down to half court on the opposite side down here, and hopefully if they keep too many people down here, we'll end up with an overload and open guys on our end of the court. If 4 can't get the ball to 1, 2 is going to break in toward the ball, cut toward the ball, and hopefully give an outlet pass there. If neither of them can be open as a last resort, 5 can recognize that and cut into the free throw line in the middle up here, and 4 can look to pass it over the top to 5 just to get it inbounded. Now let's assume that that doesn't happen, and we're going to put 2 and 5 back where they are and assume 4 can inbound the ball to 1. In that instance, 2 is going to break to the middle of this side of the court, and 1's going to look to hit him coming across here with the pass. And then 1's going to follow in behind 2, and at this point we're all going to just rush up the court looking for 3 or 5 to be open down here for a layup. 2 can pass the ball on ahead if they are open. We want to force the ball down the court. If we can't get it to 5 or 3 down here for a layup or an easy open shot, once we get it past half court, we will just get set up and run our offense as normal. Now let's talk about the baseline inbound play. So this is a play where the ball's gone out of bounds off the other team, and we're inbounding it, trying to get, or there's been a foul called or something, and we're inbounding it. We're trying to shoot at this goal. So we're taking the ball out on the same end as our goal. We're not trying to go all the way down the court in this instance. We're doing an inbound play under our own goal. You can see the setup is exactly the same. 4's taking the ball out, 1 gets to the middle of the free throw line, 3 gets on the free throw line on the same side as the ball, 2 goes to the opposite side. The only difference here is 5, instead of being back here at half court, is going to come up and set up right behind 1. 4, and again, we can't just meander around on the court because we got 5 seconds to inbound the ball. So as soon as we know that we're inbounding the ball, everyone needs to know where they're going and rush to get to their spot so we're set up. 4 is going to say go. 3 does exactly the same thing as in a press, breaking the press. He's going to set a screen here for 1 on any player that's here in front of 1. And 1's going to cut out to this corner. And maybe there will be a chance to hit him with a pass right here. And if he's open, he might get a quick shot. 2 is going to run around behind 5 and is going to be an outlet pass up here on the wing. So 4 can look for 1 or 2. After 3 sets a screen for 1 and he cuts out, 3's then going to go up and set a screen on anybody guarding 5, and 5 is going to cut down to the goal looking for an easy layup. If he's open under the goal, 4 can hit him with a pass. So we've got 3 options there of who to look to. If none of those are open, then 3 can just drop back here for an emergency outlet over the top to 3. But let's assume that 4 can get the ball to 1. 5's going to exit out to the opposite side over here, and 4 is going to step inbounds, and he may be open right here if they forget about him after he inbounds the ball, and 1 might be able to pop it right back to him for a shot under the basket. If not, then we'll set up and run our normal offense. Now there's a couple of other specialty plays that aren't part of our normal offense, that we're not going to be running these plays very often, but we may call them just as trick plays or specialty plays from time to time. And the first 2 actually are ones that the players coming back from last year will recognize. We did these last year. The first one is flat top, and all flat top means is that we're all going to flatten out in a straight line along the baseline down here. So 4 and 5 are going to be set up like they are for the gate play, for instance, down here by the lane. And instead of 2 and 3 being up here on the wing, they're going to drop down and just be in a straight line. There's a lot of things that we can do out of this. We primarily just want to see how the defense is going to react to this. What do they do with this type of setup? If they're playing man-to-man, you can see how the defense will probably be set up. They're guarding their own man in a line down here, and this leaves 1 with the ability to take his defender one-on-one, and if he can dribble around him or get past him, it may force this 4 or this 5 guy to come up and help pick him up, in which case that leaves the guy that they were defending open, and 1 can drop the ball off to them and pass it. Or if they don't come up and pick him up, 1 may be able to dribble up here and get an open shot in around the free throw line. If the defense is playing a zone, it'll look something like this. And you can see it puts pressure on the zone because we've got 2 guys over here, 4 and 2, that's in 4's zone, and we've got 2 guys over here, 5 and 3, that are in 3's zone. That they have to worry about how they're going to guard those guys. So we may be able to pass the ball over here to 2, and he'll either get an open shot, or if 4 comes out to guard him, that may leave 4 open here if 5 doesn't come over to pick him up in time. So that's the way flat top is going to work. Now the opposite of flat top is high top. And all we do there is we leave 2 and 3 out on the wing, even with the free throw line. And we're going to move 4 and 5 up the free throw line, or up the lane to the edges of the free throw line. So this is high top. We're up high away from the goal, as opposed to flat top where we're down flat along the baseline. We can do a lot of things out of this too, just to see how the defense is going to react. A couple of things we may do is if one passes it to one of these interior guys, either 4 or 5, in this instance to 4, the wing man on the same side of the ball, so 2 in this instance, can do a backdoor cut to the goal. And 4 can turn around and see if he's open for a shot, or if 2 is open for a pass coming backdoor to the goal for a layup. 1 comes down to 2's spot, and he may also be open over here that 4 can get him the ball back at the wing for a shot. If none of those are open, 3 is going to rotate around, and then 2 is going to backfill where 3 was. 4 can pass the ball back out to 3, and you can see we're set up and ready to run it again. If instead of passing it to one of the interior guys, if we pass it to one of the outside guys, 3 or 2, in this example, we pass it to 2, the inside guy, 4 in this example, that's on the same side that the ball goes to, is going to slide down the lane, and the opposite inside guy, 5 in this example, is going to come across. So we're kind of doing an overload here. For 2, he can either look for a shot, he can look for 4 and 5 to be open down here, and 1 and 3 are going to swap places. So 1's basically going to set a screen for 3, 3's going to pop back up to the top. If 2 can't do anything with it, he can throw it back up there. 4 and 5 will go back to the middle, and we're set up for high top, ready to run it again. So that's high top. Now a couple of new specialty plays that we're going to talk about, and we may run once or twice in a game or more depending on how a defense is really attacking us. The first one we're going to call is counter attack. What we saw a lot of last year was defenses would have some of their players that would be back low under the goal, and they would have 2 or 3 players that would be up really high attacking the ball, like 1 and 2 are shown up here. And what that did essentially was to leave this free throw area wide open. And so what we want to do is attack right there. We're going to counter attack this type of defense at the free throw line. And so what we're going to do is we're either going to send 4 or 5 up. Now in this example we're sending 4 up because we're going to send the one that's on the opposite side of the ball. So here the ball is on this side of the court. We're going to send 4 up. If the ball were on this side of the court, 5 would come up because you're coming toward the ball. So 4 comes up and we want to get him the ball. Boom, right there in this open space. Now he can turn around and there may be a shot right there, but as soon as the ball goes to him, the wing man on his side is going to cut to the goal, and the opposite side low man, so 5 in this example, is going to come in under the goal to be ready to rebound. They're going to be ready to rebound for a shot, or if this guy comes out to pick up 4, that's going to leave 2 wide open for a pass here. Or if 5 comes up to help, that's going to leave 5 who just cut into the lane open here. 3 can even slide down a little, and you can see we've got essentially a 4-on-3 here that we're taking advantage of. We've got 4 players against their 3 defenders. So if 3 slides in to help with this 5, that leaves our 3 open over here that 4 can get him the ball for an open shot. So by getting the ball into the circle, by counterattacking their pressure up top and getting the ball inside the circle here to the free throw area, it allows us to counterattack and put pressure on their defense, and we should be able to make some good things happen from there. Another way that we can attack aggressive defenses is what we call missile. Now in this instance, look at the defense. They're playing up really high. So in addition to putting pressure on the ball up here, they pulled all of their defenders way up high. And we saw this some last year also. And remember, we would tell you guys, look under the goal. Look under the goal. We've got guys wide open under there. And this area is left undefended. It's open. So a missile, we want to launch the ball over the defense like a missile into this area under the goal. Now we're not just going to fling the ball over under the goal. We're going to do it in a controlled way. And the way we're going to control this is we're going to have two come up and set a screen on one of these defenders for one to help him get open and get some breathing room so he can make a good pass. As soon as one dribbles out, 5's going to cut under and 3's going to cut under. Their goal here is to get underneath these defenders, to get behind them, basically to get between them and the goal. Remember, they're trying to defend us, and if we get them on the outside of us, where we're closer to the goal and they're on the back end of us, then we've got an open shot if we can get the ball into this area. So one can now launch it under to one of these guys. Or if 4 drops back and is helping guard down here, one may be able to just dribble it on in here and get an open shot right here, or force 4 to come up and help guard him. That leaves these guys more open under here for one to look to get the ball to them. So that's missile. Again, think missile. We're just going to do a screen on the one guard's defender. He's going to dribble out of that and look to make a pass under the goal. We should have guys underneath here that are wide open. The last specialty play is screen away, and this is very similar to gate, except instead of setting a gate, which is a double screen, we're just going to set single screens, single player screens. And the only thing that screen away means is that whichever side the ball goes to, the players on that side are going to go away from the ball and set a screen. So if the ball's passed to the 2 side, 1 and 4 go away from the ball and set a screen. If the ball is passed to 3, then 1 and 5, who's on the same side as 3, is going to go and set a screen on the opposite side. So in this example, 1 passes to 2, so it's going to trigger 4 and 1 to go away from that side of the goal, or that side of the ball rather, that side of the court. That should take their defenders, if they're playing man-to-man, it should take them with them. And 1's going to set a screen on 3's defender. 4's going to set a screen on 5's defender. You can see that 2 is left kind of in a man-to-man, one-on-one situation here, that if he can dribble and get open and get a shot, he can do that. Or 3 and 5 are going to come around those screens, and one of them should be open for 2 to get him the ball for an open shot here. Alright guys, well that's the end of this video. That's the end of our specialty plays. I will send you one more video that will go over our defensive setups and some of the things we're going to work on defense this year. And I'll talk to you soon. Thanks. Bye.